Senator, you can say hello to Casey Nolen from NBC in St. Louis.
Hey, Casey.
Hey, good to talk to you again.
Likewise.
Senator, I'll play devil's advocate with you here for a second. What's wrong with the corporation, Major League Baseball, making a political statement and taking their business elsewhere and letting the market figure out whether that's good or bad business?
Yeah, they're sure welcome to do that, and they can say whatever they want. My point is that why are they getting taxpayer subsidies to do it? Major League Baseball is the only sports league in America that is not subject to the antitrust laws. The NFL is, the NHL, the NBA, you name it, but not Major League Baseball. There's no reason why they should get special treatment ever, really, but especially if they're going to try and interfere in the political process, if they're going to try to leverage their monopoly market power in order to achieve political outcomes. And I'll just say this, going beyond Major League Baseball, we've seen the reports now about 100 of the biggest corporations in the world getting together to try and influence voter legislation in Georgia, in other states. You know, it is a dangerous thing when the most powerful corporations in the world try to change the political process, try to interfere in it, try to direct it. This has happened before in American history. It happened a century ago with the railroads and the monopolies then. We broke them up in order to make sure that the people are actually in control, not the corporations. That's what we need to do today.
Some people think that you're threatening them with the power of the federal government, and that's the scariest form of canceling there is. What do you say to that criticism?
I would say that no corporation is above the law, and certainly no corporation is above the people of the United States. I don't feel bad for these corporations at all. They're the most powerful entities in the world. Look at Google, look at Facebook. These people are rich. Their CEOs are rich. They are very, very powerful. They are trying to collude, use their power to affect the American political process, and in fact to change it, to direct it, to control it. They shouldn't have that power. Today it's to try and defeat election integrity. Tomorrow it'll be something else. The big tech companies have been trying to use their power to defeat any meaningful oversight of them for decades, and they have succeeded. It's time for this to stop. These companies need to be broken up. The American people need to be in control of our democracy, and we need to have free and open competition, not monopoly.
A lot of them, pay less tax than, a farmer in Missouri or
Yes.
somebody working on the railroad. Should they be paying more in taxes as corporations?
Yes, well, they should certainly be paying their fair share, and they should certainly, at the very least, be paying what their tax rate is. I mean, you make a great point. Currently, the corporate tax rate is 21%, but most of these companies, certainly many of them, they don't actually pay that. They use tax havens. They use what's called tax arbitrage, which is a fancy way of saying avoiding taxes with overseas holdings. They shouldn't be able to do any of that stuff. So whatever the rate is, they actually ought to pay it. And you're very right. I mean, whether it's farms in Missouri or small manufacturers in Missouri, they pay the full corporate tax. But Amazon and these other companies, I mean, there are many, many reports of how these companies have evaded taxes, have managed to pay very little, if any, in U.S. corporate tax or other taxes. That is just wrong.
I saw your photo with the Missouri National Guard. People are taking issue with that because, of course, they're there because there was a riot, and there was a riot that was born out of a protest. And a lot of people look at you as someone who was leading the charge, protesting, objecting to the election of Joe Biden, the results of Joe Biden's election. What do you say to that? Is that a photo in poor taste?
First of all, the meeting with the 220th was a great privilege. I enjoyed doing it. I thank them for their service. They've been here for a month now at the Capitol, helping to provide security, and they are just a great group of men and women. I got to meet a couple of them, were specially recognized for their service at the Capitol, and on behalf of all Missourians, it was a great privilege to get to visit with them and to show them the support that they have from our state. I would just say to those liberals and haters out there who continue to spread the big lie that standing for election security is the same thing as violence, that they can say it all they want, but a lie is a lie, and that's a lie. I have never condoned violence. I don't condone it now as it's happening on the streets of Minneapolis. I don't condone it at the Capitol. I don't condone it by the psychopath who killed the police officer just a few weeks ago here at the Capitol. That we've heard so little about because the media doesn't want to report it. But the fact is that standing up for election integrity, fighting for the will of the voters to be protected, to be made real, is not violence. It is not advocacy of violence. And those who say it is are repeating a lie.
The other side has used that big lie reference when it comes to fraud in the election. Is it not a lie that the election was stolen from President Trump?
Well, that's never rhetoric that I use, but I will tell you that when it comes to having a debate about election security, election integrity, about the need to protect our elections, I think that is absolutely legitimate to do in the floor of the United States Senate, and I see that my Democrat colleagues agree, not least because they've objected 11 times to 11 different states over the last 3 years in presidential elections, and now they want to introduce legislation that would fundamentally change how our elections are run, including repealing Missouri's voter ID law. So they apparently think it's fair game to talk about election integrity. They have terrible ideas about it, but I'm certainly not going to be deterred to standing up to their efforts to try to undo Missouri's laws. And I'm not going to be deterred by people telling lies and saying that if you disagree with them, you should be silenced and you're a violent rioter. That's simply false. It's a lie, and I'm not going to stand for it.
My internal clock will probably out.
Senator, we have hit our 5 minutes.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Senator.
Yeah,
Talk
thank
to you
you.
next time.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.